And this is the Law Live Audio Wrestling right here on all of your podcast providers, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. You can check us out even on Podbean, where you can get all kinds of stuff. Go there, subscribe, do what you got to do. Also, if you're watching this visually, you can see this obviously on YouTube and a bunch of other shows as well, and some new content as well. So thank you so much for everybody for joining us. Let's get into the world of boxing, shall we, Bradie? I mean, it's not something that I thought I would ever, say, let's really get into the world of boxing. No, thank you. But that's probably because the world of boxing is a very, very, what's the word I want to look for properly here so that I don't really step on anybody's toes? It's crooked. It is not a straight and narrow business, but I mean, either is the world of professional wrestling, but at least we're not trying to pin it off like it is something that's straight. And this is something that we've talked about before. And we have this other thing that we do where we put out a thing called Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews, where he talks about the business of boxing. We've got one of those things as well. You can always check those out each and every week right here on the Law Live Audio Wrestling YouTube channel. But we are coming up to a fight this weekend. Before we get into the one further down the road, let's talk about the actions this week, because we're leading up to Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk is finally happening again. Because remember, this was supposed to happen a long time ago. Tyson Fury pulled out of it for whatever reason. And then recently it was supposed to happen. Tyson Fury pulled out again because he got a cut during training. And finally, the Saudi prince stepped in and said, listen, this fight is happening on this day at this time for my people and everybody around the world. And if you don't show up, it's going to cost you this much money out of your pocket, not your purse, out of your pocket. So obviously this fight is going to happen because I think, a $4 million fine or whatever it is, 4 or 40 or whatever they decided on is probably a little steep for these guys regardless, right?
No, any pugilistic historian will know that this weekend is the first time we've had a lineal heavyweight champion technically going to be decided. And this goes all the way back since Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. We haven't had a lineal champion for that long. It's like, this is history.
Yeah. One guy will have all the belts.
All of them.
And one guy isn't even a heavyweight, ladies and gentlemen. He's a blown up cruiserweight. Okay. Now, that said, so was Evander Holyfield. Was a blown up cruiserweight.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Because you got to remember, cruiserweight in boxing is a lot different than it is in mixed martial arts.
No, it is. It's just the way you said it. It was disrespectful.
Well, I mean, listen, I haven't been a cruiserweight since junior high, probably. So
I've never been a cruiserweight in my entire life.
No. You'd have to be 4 more of you to be a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
You're like Eddie and the Cruiserweights, more like it.
Moving on.
Anyways, so if you think about it, this fight here, for the first time that this is happening, since that far back, you would think that this is going to be a huge thing, and it is. And along with this, of course, you start talking about their camps and the people that travel with the Fury camp and the people that travel with the Usyk camp.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have heard about it already, then you've already heard the news where, of course, anytime there is a Tyson Fury involved in the media and the press for a fight coming up, there is also one Mr. John Fury. And John Fury is a fucking idiot.
Oh, Jesus. How do you really feel about John?
I'm sure that he probably has his moments. This is not one of them. This past week, a couple days ago, actually, they had some presser stuff at the hotel, and both teams and both crews are there. And Tyson's in one room doing some presser stuff, and Alexander's in another room doing some presser stuff. And obviously, all the teams are all hanging out in the lobby and in the hallways, and they're chirping each other back and forth. And of course, John's got to be the loudest one in the room every single time, right? And John Fury decides to take it upon himself to get a little bit into the face of one of the Usyk camp guys, or one of the children, I should say, from the Usyk camp, because I mean, I thought it was you, Bradie.
Okay, slow down.
You were at the fights here for a second, because, dude, if you take your glasses off and we do a side by each of the two of you, yeah, I guarantee you don't look that much different.
No, he was 5'9" and about 180 pounds, apparently, from what
That's
they said.
You.
No, I wish I was 5'9". I'm not 5'9". What is this turning into? You're a little man. you look at the little man. Dance for me, little man.
Yeah. Apparently, I force you to do things. So dance.
Dance, motherfucker. All right. So, yes, we have the Usyk and John. Usyk's camp, you had a little guy walking by, and I guess supposedly from what John says, and he said it to the press afterwards, is that he said Fury's going down, and John took this as disrespect, and he's like, "You don't disrespect my son." Okay, it's a fucking fight. This is a team environment. Why is John taking this shit so seriously when he's out there constantly screaming in everybody else's face? You're fucking gonna die on this weekend. You're gonna die, and my son's gonna kill you. And
bro, your son's been knocked down in every one of his last 4 fights. So to say that Fury is going down is not that far of a stretch.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding here, John? And it's just words.
Yeah, it's words.
Just fucking words, you moron. What are you thinking out there? John Fury is lucky. He'll be damn lucky if he isn't arrested by the time this thing airs. Because if you think about it, that is literally an assault charge on him.
There's a good chance that he will catch one. I don't know if it's going to happen. I feel like he got lucky that wasn't just a fan walking by, because it very well could have been. It wasn't like he was just facing and somebody was screaming in his face. This guy was just walking by. This could have been a fan.
It could have very well been, but I don't think John Fury cares about that. And the problem is this is going to lead to something worse, because now you're going to get somebody who really doesn't like John Fury. Let's say Tyson Fury has a fight after this, and somebody plants a plant inside of that crowd, and they go to egg John Fury on to get him to the point to where he does something, and then somebody gets shot, somebody gets stabbed, somebody gets killed at one of these things, and it's not even anything to do with the fight at all. It's just people hanging out in the lobby of a freaking hotel.
These boys come from an area where you end up dead in a parking lot.
Fuck off about all of that. Who cares where you come from? That world is what you left behind.
No, what I'm saying is
you absolutely left behind to make yourself a better life for you and your family, not to act like gypsy assholes, like everything matters and you're fighting in a field somewhere.
No. What I'm saying is that somebody from his era is going to get him. Somebody from his area is going to, if he keeps doing this, like, you can't run around and headbutt random people. You can't take over your son's pressers. I know a lot of people like John Fury. I kind of agree with you. I think he's a fucking idiot. I don't think it's even like, this fight doesn't need this shit.
This is the kind of shit that people laugh at boxing for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is the pro wrestling shit that boxing purists don't want to see in boxing. Period.
This is not even like the Diaz boys don't even do this shit, and they're supposedly out of control. But the Diaz boys don't even do this. You don't just start headbutting random people because they say something you don't like.
There's a difference between being out of control and out of touch, and I think John Fury is a little out of touch.
Oh yeah, he's 100% out of touch. Now let's move on from that weirdo, the original Gypsy.
Let's talk about the other weirdos.
Let's talk about the 2 weirdos that are actually getting in the ring and fighting for the lineal heavyweight championship. So what are your predictions for this fight this weekend?
Honestly, I think Usyk has a very good chance of beating Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Because Usyk, in my opinion, is a better boxer. Tyson Fury is big, but also there's rumors going around that Tyson Fury's lost himself a lot of weight, lost himself a lot of size. He's going to come in what people are calling the best shape Tyson Fury's ever been in. But here's the thing about Tyson Fury. He's never been an in shape guy. He's never been that guy. So you don't want to get him too in shape because you're going to end up taking away. It's like when if you change your body structure, it changes your golf swing. I have to believe it also changes your ability to fight and take those shots. And listen, if he's got a lot less blubber around his midsection, that's also protection you have to remember. And if Usyk starts digging in deep to the body, he can get to the inside because he's a smaller fighter. And he starts digging to the body like that, yeah, it's going to be a short night for Tyson Fury because it's a couple of 1-2 downstairs and that big one right up the middle. And you've got yourself a cruiserweight who's, taking it away from the giants and screwed up the whole heavyweight division all over again.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to see Alexander Usyk win this because I love to see that entire division just get turned on its ass.
I think it's needed. I honestly think it's needed. And I think since the days of Holyfield did the same thing. He turned the whole thing on its ass, and you needed a guy like Lennox to come out there to actually defeat him because there was no other way to do it. A guy like Tyson wasn't doing it. His game wasn't working anymore. And perfect segue into Tyson's game. Does he still have it?
Well, listen, if we saw anything this past week, what we saw when they had their presser, and what we saw when they had their little face off, in between, it was very friendly, very cordial, even some touchy feely, a couple of little like, haha, thanks for the payday, Jake, is exactly what that was, right? But at the end of the day, you have to remember this is a different Tyson Fury that you're seeing, or Tyson Fury, a different Mike Tyson that you're seeing nowadays outside of the ring. You watch him doing his training stuff with Rafael Cordero, and he looks like an absolute savage in that 30-second clip that you're watching. Let's not forget that.
It's 30 seconds.
So if Jake can make him miss a couple of times, it's a different ball game, right? I still go back to the fact that I'm ashamed that I'm going to end up watching this thing because I'm ashamed of what's going to end up happening at the end of this whole thing. Because much like a lot of you, I have fallen into the Mike Tyson is kind of an endearing old coot now.
The thing is about Tyson is you can't help but love who he is now. He just has an infectious smile. People like at this presser, and shouts out to Ariel Helwani for trying to hold down the abomination that was that presser. Never give the microphone to the fans because the fans of boxing are going to come out there and say, what's your favorite song to listen to as you train? Get the fuck out of here, man. They knew that was a bad mistake. So hopefully we don't see that again from Netflix or anybody running it. But shouts out to Ariel Helwani for keeping the guys in line. But I think even Jake was kind of smitten at this presser with Tyson. Yeah. He's like, oh my God, he's a cute old man.
Everybody would be. You're in the middle of a press conference with Mike fucking Tyson to talk about your fight coming up with him. Thankfully, this is happening when Mike is 172 years old because 27-year-old Jake Paul is not doing this with 27-year-old Mike Tyson. That ain't happening.
It's nuts. This kid's like 5 years into boxing, just under 5 years. He's 230 pounds now. He's weighing in at 230. He's put on a lot of weight. He looks double the size. I don't know if it was the shirt he was wearing with this new style of baggy clothes, but he looked huge standing beside Tyson.
Listen, here's the thing. Jake Paul, all right? Zoom in on this. Jake Paul is the equivalency of that greener than grass, doesn't know anything indie worker who sells all of the tickets to the show so you make him the fucking champ. That's who Jake Paul is. And that's what's happening in this one. He's selling all of the tickets so that he can pay these guys to knock them the F out. And the unfortunate thing is Mike Tyson is very well going to be the next one on that list. I hate that part.
I almost puked. I almost puked when you said it, but I have to agree with you. I think Jake in 3.
Because who does it benefit? What's the money end of this? Think about this. What's the business end of this? Who does it benefit? Does it benefit Mike Tyson to do anything against Jake Paul? No, because he's not going to make another fucking run at anything.
No.
So who does it benefit? It benefits Jake Paul, and it furthers his legacy, and it furthers his stature, and it furthers his fucking aura and whateverness, right?
These teenagers don't care that he doesn't have a Mike Tyson track record. These teenagers and these college kids don't care. They grew up watching this guy. They showed up at the presser. They made their voice known. They like Jake. They like Logan. They're with those guys, ride or die. And a guy like Mike Tyson is just a cute old man to them. They don't care about highlight videos. They don't care about old school fights from the 80s and 90s because that was so long ago. That was ancient history.
Yeah.
It's like World War II, when we were growing up.
And there were parents were born.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Their parents were born in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's wild stuff, man.
This is nuts, man. I don't know what the fuck Mike Tyson was thinking outside of let's buy a new mansion.
Have you seen the numbers on it yet? Have
Nope.
the betting numbers come out on this yet?
Oh, yeah, they'll be out somewhere. I don't know what they are on something like a DraftKings or a FanDuel or one of the big ones.
We should take a big look right now and let's see. Let's just see what people think. Like, who is the favorite in this one? If it's going to be a Mike Tyson or if it's going to be Jake Paul. Mike Tyson.
What are the odds here?
Plus 130.
What?
Jake Paul minus 170.
It's a weird time to bet.
Now, let's just, for reference, guys, let's just look at what it is for the fights happening this weekend between the two active and, the two best heavyweights. They're the guys fighting it out right now, right? What those odds are. And those are
odd.
Alexander Usyk plus 100. Tyson Fury minus 120. Betting lines don't have a clue yet, but I think you're going to see those numbers change the closer we get. I think you'll see the betting is going to move those lines, especially after what happened with John Fury and the Tyson Fury camp. I think they got him shook. I honestly think Usyk has a very good chance to win this fight, and I hope that he does. That's not a knock against Tyson Fury.
No, it's two different types of composure, though. Like the Furies carry themselves with a certain arrogance to them, and Usyk just seems to be a guy he's got that Freddie Mercury look, but he's got a humbleness like a Fred Astaire.
He does have that bit of a Alfred E. Newman kind of look to him. Doesn't he?